fourth in the spring race. Kevin, a little bit different track when you guys raced here in the spring. 2 races to go in the season, counting them down. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's been a fairly good year for us. Obviously, the new track is going to present a whole new scenario with the way the race turns out. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of unknowns. We had a good test out here, and our car ran well. So we just got to see how the racetrack progresses and try to keep up with those changes as the track changes through the weekend.
Right. If you got questions, let us know. We've got the mic. We'll start with Tom, then we'll come to Lee.
Kevin, Tom Jensen, Speed.com. After you and Kyle were involved in that mess in Darlington earlier this year, you said you can race any way you want to wait. That NASCAR wants you to race. You just need to know where the line is drawn. Did what happened last week define that line more clearly, or do you still wondering?
I think you can race all you want under green. Obviously, I think that the caution had a lot to do with the scenario. The whole retaliation part under caution green during the race, coming back out and waiting for somebody still seems like late model racing to me. But you gotta race within what they're going to let you do. I think obviously under the caution, pile driving somebody in the fence is probably, we know that one's out of play.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. You had a front row seat for what went on last year between Jimmie and Denny, and we've talked at length that Denny just had a meltdown. Carl had a very comfortable lead through most of this chase, and we've just watched it, get sucked away. What can Carl do at this point to just kind of try to get that momentum back if he can this late in the game?
Well, I wish we all knew how to gain the momentum and how you lose the momentum. Obviously right now the 14 car has the momentum, and he's won his way into contention during the chase, and it's really all about getting on the guy who gets on the hot streak during the last 10 weeks and can complete that hot streak through the end of the season, and Tony has that right now. And if you look at it, I mean, it really doesn't even seem possible that the 99 can even beat him with the momentum that Tony has right now. But this could be a game changer. In what direction, I don't think anybody knows, because we have no clue how it's going to race. We know we can all drive around by ourselves and make good lap times and adjust on our car and do the things that we need to do, but how hard will it be to pass when they drop the green flag and everybody's on the racetrack? Don't know. So, this could be interesting.
Kevin, in back, it appears unlikely the 48 is going to win a 6th straight. Can you talk again about that remarkable 5-year run, and also can you possibly believe that will ever happen again?
I couldn't hear the last part of his question. I know you talked about the 48.
Yeah, 48. Could you talk again about that 5-year run he's had, and also can you possibly believe that would ever happen again?
Yeah, obviously, the things that they've done have been very remarkable, and I think as you look at the difference in the way that they won the championships, coming from behind, being ahead, having dominant years during the regular season, not being a factor during the regular season, it's just they've kind of figured out how to do it in every possible way. So it's been, even though we haven't been able to beat them, it's been fun to watch and see when you're in a sport, you see how hard it is to do those types of things. Not only win a race, but win that many championships, and to win them in a row is almost unbelievable when you try to put it on paper and say this is what happened.
Shannon Spake, ESPN. As the team owner who was directly impacted by Kyle Busch's actions last week at Texas, your thoughts on how it's been handled from a NASCAR standpoint as well as a sponsorship standpoint?
I think obviously from a team owner standpoint, it was expensive. I think as you look back at the whole situation, the hardest part, is that the last time Ron Hornaday raced for a championship? That's the part that bothers me the most. It's pretty common that people know that I don't care for Kyle regardless of whether he's in trouble or out of trouble. But that's the guy I feel like, is taking the blunt of everything that happened last week. So, as far as the way it was handled, I mean, it's not my situation. It's not something that I feel like I need to, weigh in my opinion on whether it was too much or not enough. And it's just unfortunate for Ron more than anybody. And that's, I think, as you went through the week, hearing the phone calls that were made to Ron from Kyle at the first part of the week, and trying to give him the 18 truck ride for next year, and all the things that he tried to do, he knew how wrong it was. Hopefully. Yeah, as far as I know, Rick Rim called Ron and offered him the 18 truck for next year, and at first it started just with him calling Ron, trying to get Ron to call NASCAR so he wouldn't lose his job, but that was how all that progressed.
Mike Mullern, still MikeMullern.net. You were young and impetuous once and grew to be a very mature, dignified driver. Kyle says he's going to change because of this. We've heard that before. Do you think that, you've seen other drivers, do you think Kyle is really going to change, or is it what you are is what you are?
Look, I mean, when I went through that situation, I had two people in the whole sport. I mean, obviously Richard was one. I had two people in the whole sport, Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace. Those were the only two guys that reached out and said, I've been there before, here's what I need to do, and you need to move on. But it's a game changer as far as how you look at the sport and how you feel about things. And the bottom line is when you're in a competition and things are competitive, you're going to do things that you look back on and you say, man, that was pretty bad there, or I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this a different way. And the one thing that we try to do is when we make a mistake, or I make a mistake, or somebody makes a mistake in the company, you try not to do it twice. You try to learn from that, and you try to move on, and you hope, as this situation moves forward, you hope that that he takes something from it and learns something from it, and this sport is a lot like life. I mean, you go from year to year, and you learn. And you hopefully learn from your mistakes, and you get older and you mature as a person. So hopefully those go hand in hand as you move on in your career, and things become more clear. So it's a tough sport, and the hardest part about this sport is not NASCAR, is not your sponsors. It's really the part that governs it the hardest are the competitors, because they look at it as a disrespect to the sport that they've been a part of building for a long time, and that's the hardest part, is to come back and be able to look everybody in the eye and then believe that you actually respect the sport.
Other questions for Kevin? All right, thanks, Kevin. Good luck this weekend.